HOA Karen poured concrete in my well, then stepped right into my legal trap. HOA Karen, amazing. I moved to Pine Meadow Estates for quiet peace from the noise of city life. A break from the courthouse drama I'd made my living off of for 16 years. I didn't tell anyone I used to be an environmental litigation attorney. I just wanted to live, plant fruit trees, fix up the old ranch-style house on the edge of the cul-de-sac, and build my well. Not many neighbors liked the sight of the project, least of all Karen Delacroix, the HOA president who apparently ran the neighborhood like a gated dictatorship. She saw my well as a nuisance structure. I saw it as independence. But Karen didn't care about water rights or property lines. She cared about appearances. "I'm warning you, Mr. Rivera," she told me one morning, not even knocking, just barging in past my low fence. "That well is not HOA compliant. You're digging up dirt and drawing attention. I have every permit. Checked with the county." Karen waved her manicured hand like it meant something. "This is a community, not a homestead." I smiled politely. "And I'm not asking for your blessing." 3 days later, I found it. Concrete. Thick. Still wet in places. Poured straight into the well shaft. The stone rim was fractured like a dropped teacup. It wasn't just sabotage, it was a middle finger poured in cement. The rage hit me first, then a familiar calm. I'd seen this before: land disputes, petty sabotage, power abuse hiding behind bylaws. But Karen didn't know who she was playing with. I didn't call the sheriff. I called a drone. The footage was perfect. Karen and 2 HOA members in broad daylight, in yoga clothes, hauling 5-gallon buckets from the back of a white Lexus SUV, laughing as they sloshed the concrete into my open well. It was as clean as any court exhibit I'd ever prepared. I waited 2 weeks. Then I sent a letter. "Dear Karen, your actions on April 14th constitute felony property destruction and trespassing. This is your opportunity to resolve this amicably before I escalate it to civil court, local media, and the State Water Resources Board. Sincerely, Alejandro Rivera." Isca. 2 days later, her lawyer called me in a panic. By then, it was too late. I'd already forwarded the footage to 3 local news stations, uploaded it to a YouTube channel I created that day, HOA Justice Watch, and sent copies to the County Code Enforcement Office, the Health Department, and the Environmental Protection Division. Karen tried to spin it. She was protecting the neighborhood aesthetic. She thought it was illegal. She didn't know it was active. Except one of the HOA members in the video very clearly says he's going to be so mad when his well's filled. The town erupted. Pine Meadow wasn't rich, but it wasn't stupid. Within days, the HOA board was buried in formal complaints. One elderly couple even wrote to the mayor. By the time I filed my civil suit, $78,000 in well damage in legal fees, Karen had already been booted from the board. But I didn't stop there. I used her own playbook: public meetings, online petitions. I stood on my cracked well, held up the county permits, and told the story to a crowd of neighbors who'd had enough of HOA abuse. That red arrow painted on my driveway, that was for the reporters. That handmade sign I planted in front of the well, it read, "She filled the well." Karen tried to claim defamation, but the judge dismissed her countersuit with prejudice. Her personal finances weren't ready for what came next: civil judgment, court fees, and when the county health inspector fined her $15,000 for environmental contamination, she packed up and left the neighborhood in the middle of the night. I rebuilt the well, didn't cover the cracks, left them visible scars that told the story better than I ever could. Now every time a new family moves in, someone points to that well and says, "Don't mess with Mr. Rivera," and I smile, because justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it bubbles back up, one legal trap at a time.